It is fall, November 2023, around 8 AM to be exact. And as with most vacations, the first day is the most hectic. After almost an hour of going through security, we had finally made it to the waiting area. I spent most of the time going through messages, reading fastbare flights and listening to music, like my father. But after a while I couldn't stop but notice how much the time was dragging. We spent around 45 minutes waiting for our plane to finally arrive. And when it did arrive, I was pretty glad to finally have a bit of movement again. We spent around 10 to 20 minutes waiting for everyone to get on board and for the pilots to give the green light. And then
it was finally time for takeoff.
After 4 hours of flight and a not too bad snack for breakfast, we finally arrived in Tenerife. After getting off the plane and collecting our travel suitcases, we had to go around and figure out which bus was going to be the one taking us to our hotel. We wandered back and forth a bit, but as you can see right here, we did eventually find the right one. We landed on the airport in the south of Tenerife and had to drive up pretty far north. And since there's a huge volcano in the middle of the island, we had to go a long way around, so there was quite a bit of time to get a good first impression of the island.
But I'm afraid to be near you, and I don't know where to begin, and I don't know where to begin. desert, there's a forest and an acre before us, but I don't know where to begin. But I don't know where to begin. Again, I lost my strength completely. Oh, be near me, tired old mare with the wind in your hair.
Around 8:30 p.m. we finally arrived in Puerto de la Cruz, at the Hotel Eden to be exact. Check-in was quick and easy, and right after we could try out their buffet. I usually went with fries, pasta or rice, and once the stomach was filled up, it was time for bed.
This will end.
The first thing I did after waking up was take a look at my hotel room in the daylight, which was pretty much just down the hall and to the right. And the first thing you'll see when you enter the room was this little kitchen, where I made ramen if I didn't have anything else to eat. And to the other side, I had quite the bathroom with a nice and big mirror, 2 sinks and quite a nice shower. An interesting mechanism of the place was that you needed to insert your magnetic card in order for the lights and electricity to work. But speaking of lights, let's turn them off and move on to the living room, which has a TV, it also has a mirror, and the usual essentials like the cabinet, table and of course a bed. To make my time less boring here, I decided to bring Foxy with me, a Fastbirth Rides book, my camera gear and my bag with even more camera gear. I also had a little balcony with a view of the volcano and some of the city.
Not easily offended, know how to let it go. From a mess to the masses, a list of many, think less but see it grow.
My parents were already up. In fact, on most days my parents were up an hour early, rushing me out of bed in the process. It was worth it though, once we got to the breakfast. The hot chocolate and donuts they had were amazing and made my every morning. However, after breakfast and taking a look at our surroundings, it was time to take a look at the car that we had gotten for the week, which was a Fiat 500 hybrid.
So, jetzt brauchen wir Navi.
And after setting up our phone's navigation, it was time to start our first trip to the Mount Teide.
We'll burn the pictures instead. When it's all over, we can barely discuss for 1 minute only. Now with a fortune and only. Thought it could have been something else. These days it comes, it comes, it comes, it comes, it comes and goes.
Aber wie gesagt, da kannst du 30 Minuten mehr.
Like a ride, oh, not easily offended, know how to let it go. From a mess to the masses, a list of many, think less but see it grow. Like a ride, oh, not easily offended, know how to let it go. From a mess to the masses.
The Mount Teide is about 12,000 feet high, so we decided to have a stop about halfway to catch a little break and take a look at the scenery. The Fiat 500 didn't have a lot of power, but it was pretty comfortable to drive in despite its size. But speaking of the scenery, you might see a lot of dead trees around. That's because there was a huge wildfire in the summer, just before we came. Luckily this didn't affect our trip, but still a pretty tragic event of course. The burnt trees didn't stop us from enjoying the view though.
Papa noch richtig. Das gibt es noch.
Machen wir erstmal hier kurz Rast auf so einer Aussichtsplattform. Die warten schon da oben. Mal gucken, was da zu sehen gibt. Jetzt filmen wir uns alle gegenseitig oder was?
I think we've spent enough time here. After all, we're not even halfway up the volcano, so let's get back on the road and make our way to the top. The higher we got, the more the weather cleared up. Not only that, but at this point we were already above most of the clouds anyway. So once we found a place to park, we could finally take a look at the Mount Teide. At this point we had two options. Option 1, hike up a 2.7 kilometer trail, which would have taken us inexperienced climbers around 5 or 6 hours. Or option 2, take a cable car to the top, which would have cost us around 40 euros for each one of us. That was too expensive for us, so spoiler alert, we didn't go all the way to the top. However, our trip wasn't for nothing, because beside the volcano, we also got a good look at the Minas de San Jose. When the Apollo landed on the moon, they found landscapes just like the ones you see here, with craters covered in volcanic dust. And given these similarities, this place has been used to test prototypes and instruments meant to be used on the moon. And walking around, you really do feel like you're on another planet, or walking through a landscape that should date back to the age of the dinosaurs. Mount Teide last erupted in 1909, and you can actually still see some of the remains like the lava streams and rock formations. And although there are small amounts of gases still coming out of the volcano, you can actually get permits to hike up all the way to the top yourself. As mentioned earlier though, we decided to not spend that time or money, so having looked around, taken photos and spent some time taking in the atmosphere, we got back to the car to make our way back home, which quickly came to a halt when we spotted a little restaurant on the side of the road. If I remember correctly, I got myself a pizza, which was pretty good, and after taking a few more shots of the landscape, we made our way back down. And believe it or not, we already went back to the hotel, already concluding day 2. After a little over an hour of driving, we arrived in Puerto de Santiago. Here we got a pretty good view of the cliffs looming over the Atlantic Ocean. That, and of course my father tinkering with his gimbal. But what makes this place so special is that these coasts offer very special conditions to all living things, protected from the trade winds and the cold Canarian current in the sea. This allows for a lot of microscopic animals and plants to develop, serving as food for bigger sea creatures. Especially pilot whales and dolphins tend to live around this area, and we might or might not see some of those later. And quick little fun fact while we're here, Tenerife is just one of many islands in this area, some of which we can even see from just standing here.
Turn your life on the flip of this coin. Turn upside a choice you normally avoid. And promise me you'll follow what it says, whatever it says.
Again, walk within the trusted beach or swim the swell of the sea. And again, the scary alternatives look like certain death to he. He never learnt the skill of swimming, it never occurred to be very easy. And again, he winced as he flipped his coin and he
Noodles get soft, but eggs get hard. Physics, man.
the waves. As he hesitated at the swirl of water that now raged and rained. Blue-eyed girls were waiting and he was drowning in the spray. Blue-eyed girls you should be acquainted with, but for shouting and flailing.
Turn your life on the flip of this coin. Turn upside a choice you normally avoid. And promise me you'll follow what it says, whatever it says.
So if you want, the next one we have it is with this one. 2 hours. We're going to see whales or dolphin. Today the sea is really calm, so it's 100% to see something. After we stop in Masca Bay like 10-15 minutes to have a little swim over there. Then we come back closer of the cliff of Los Gigantes.
Okay.
It's 25 euros per person with 1 drink included. Or if you prefer, this one with all the drinks included, and it's 30 euros per person.
Okay. When does this one take off?
The next one is at 12:30.
Okay, and this one?
This one at 2:30. 25 bags, Where the blue car is going, if you're straight to the end, at the left side, do you see a yellow umbrella?
Yep.
Show the ticket to my colleague. Then my colleague gonna tell you when you go to the boat. He's gonna be in front of her, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much and have a nice day.
Jo, jetzt machen wir eine Bootstour. Dann sehen wir mal die Dinger vom Meer aus.
Whatever it says.
After about 30 minutes, the boat finally arrived. And after letting out the other travelers, we were finally given the green light to hop on board ourselves. As you can see, there were about 20 other people joining us, but honestly, it didn't really feel as cramped as you'd expect. Im Schatten, ne?
the tears and hold you. No, I'm not scared of anyone. You made me display. I protect you. I made in a baby soul, still have a bigger one to raise myself. I'm gonna be the one forever. We notice you go ahead and down. We just left after you. Someday we may take care to see your world day.
After about an hour, we arrived at the Masca beach. We didn't bring any swimsuits or towels, so we just stayed on the boat and enjoyed the landscape and our free drinks. And not long after, we started making our way back.
Gonna miss me together, never fading down. Look at the stars, the place in the future.
The tour ended up taking around 2 hours, and because we had now gotten the best view possible of the Los Gigantes, we decided to drive back to the hotel once we got back on land. We did take a short break though, to enjoy the view, get some fresh air, and take some pictures.
To the light of you, the light in the skies above us on the ground. We hung the same trees with holding hands. I hope I can be brave, but it's tomorrow. You know.
So, Ankunft Loro-Park. Um 9:45 Uhr, erst mit dem Shuttlebus sonst wohin und dann ein Taxi hierher. Mal reingehen. Aber ist jetzt hier weiter? Ist ja cool. Ah, hier ist die ganze Sippe. Die halten ja eine Vollversammlung, wie es aussieht.
My back is aching and my body's sore. Don't stop
The Loro in Loro Park stands for parrot, because when this park was founded in 1972, it was mainly a parrot park, housing around 150 of them. Since then, it has grown to 13 hectares and houses dolphins, orcas, and penguins, as you saw earlier, but also a bunch of sea creatures, birds, and even alligators. We spent over 8 hours in this park, watching the shows and looking at pretty much everything that they had to offer. I can't say I've been to many zoos. I think the last time I might have been at the zoo in Berlin when I was still a child. So this was a pretty fun day for me. But I also managed to take a lot of pretty nice pictures and videos of the animals here. So either way, this trip was worth it.
Keep swimming, swimming, swimming.
By 4 p.m. we made it out of the Loro Park. On our way back we got some ice cream and spent some time at the beach before continuing our way back to the hotel.
Our little dive in the submarine took around 1 hour. There were a handful of interesting spots to see, and of course a little bit of sea life, but I did think the experience is a bit overpriced at 61 euros a ticket. Afterward, we took a trip to a nearby city where I ordered some good old pepperoni pizza. And after that, believe it or not, we already made our way back to the hotel.
I wonder how it'd be, wonder what would change if you were still here with me. Wonder right and wrong, whether I was strong, if only I could see. And although time moves on, I try to keep you in my memory. Picture every moment, I know you'd be proud of me. So watch how the clouds move on before the skies are clear. Hope to find my strength before they disappear. Oh, if I fell again, would your shadow still be right behind me? Every sunrise passes, I feel you here.
We get some rules to follow that in this, these and those. No one knows.
At the Masca beach, you can actually hike up a trail going through the Los Gigantes. If you stay on the path, unlike this guy, who seems to have found the stairs that look strikingly similar to the stairs leading to Shelob in Lord of the Rings, you will find yourself in the mountain village Masca. We are not that crazy about hiking, so on day 6 we decided to approach Masca from the road.
Sangria. Lecker.
Masca is a very small mountain village, so we didn't spend much more than 2 hours there. Which meant we still had a lot of time left, so we decided to keep driving and see a tree? Well, you'll see.
Dort? Ja, nein.
This is not only the largest, but also the oldest specimen of a dragon tree. It is rumored to be 1,000 years old, reaches 20 meters in height, and weighs approximately 140 tons. After taking some pictures and taking a walk through the park, we headed back to the car to drive back to the hotel.
Es fährt René.
For our last day, we didn't have anything specific in mind. We just got in the car and drove toward the northeast edge of Tenerife. On our way there, we stopped at a few spots to take some photos, and that was generally all we did.
Tight pants points hollering out. She was a black-haired beauty with big dark eyes, and points all her own, sitting way up high. Way up firm and high. Out past the cornfields where the woods got heavy. Out in the back seat of my '60 Chevy, working on mysteries without any clues, working on our night moves, trying to make some front page driving news, working on our night moves. In the summertime, sweet summertime. We weren't in love, oh no, far from it. We weren't searching for some pie in the sky summit. We were just young and restless and bored, living by the sword. And we'd steal away every chance we could, to the back room, to the alley, or the trusty woods. I used her, she used me, but neither one cared. We were getting our share, working on our night moves.
After a couple hours of driving, we arrived in Las Bodegas. This village, if you can call it that, barely has 20 buildings, and I don't know if it serves any specific purpose, but there's a hiking trail nearby which leads to the shore, which we didn't walk because we didn't wanna. So, as anticlimactic that was, we decided to drive back. The way back proved to be a little bit more interesting since there was a lot of fog building up around us.